Good morning and welcome to the Relife Podcast. I am your host, Marcus Moore, here at Relife Academy. Now, for those of you that don't know, Relife Academy is the first ever technology-based personal development platform that targets mental health and social adaptability by analyzing your unique environment and then engaging you with personalized course content that builds on those areas of opportunity, all with the goal of developing a better you along the way. You can find out more by visiting relifeacademy.com today. Now, we have a lot of ground that we're going to cover in this episode, so I want to make sure that we're on the same page before we jump in. Through the course of our thought discussions, I'm going to present you with a variety of ideas that may conflict with your personal views. Today's one of those days where you and I are going to have to get really real with each other so that we can make some really real progress. All right? So today we're going to discuss a sensitive and personal topic that sparks passion in the hearts of those we love and those who love us. Now, I hope that possibly after this episode you can make a better decision for the future of the world. That'd be great. So if you're ready, join me this morning as we explore the fragments of our past in an attempt to understand how we develop both ourselves and our children here on episode 4 of the Relife Podcast, Developing the Future. Now, universally speaking, we tend to romanticize childhood. I think we can all agree on this. What does this mean? Well, while each of us experience it differently, the general consensus is that childhood should be a time of learning, right? Innocence, imagination, adventure. The experiences that we're fortunate enough to have along the way help shape the way we view the world around us, the way our bodies evolve, the way they mature, the way our brain develops, the way we learn to communicate. Many of you listening right now probably have really strong views around what it means to be a parent, which is good. Furthermore, you probably have even stronger views on what it means to be a good parent, right? Now, while that term is really subjective, right? There's no operational definition for it. We have a sort of collective understanding of what the rules should be. I think it's fair to assume that the majority of people listening understand that you should not abuse or neglect your children, right? In addition to that basic fundamental requirement, it's largely understood that parents should provide proper nutrition, housing, and social interaction. The reality, obviously, is much more granular than this. For us to understand the entire picture, though, we have to start from the beginning. It's a little bit of a journey, but I think you're going to find a tremendous amount of value in this, guys. Let's start at the point of origin. So to arrive at the more than 100 billion neurons that complement a newborn baby, for instance, the brain must grow at a rate roughly about 250,000 nerve cells per minute, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's absolutely incredible. I want you to fast forward to the delivery room. We can see that from physical birth until about the age of 3, sometimes 4, depending on development, right? Children gain more than 1,000 neural connections every second. This seems like a very simple number, right, that we don't really often understand the perspective of. So think of it this way. Over the course of 24 hours, that's one day, you guys know this, we can do math, that child will create 86.4 million neural connections. Each of these are codified into their freshly developed child brain. That's right. Everything you say, how you say it, how you look, how you act, what they eat, what they feel, their brain is connecting the dots every second of their life at 1,000 neural connections every second. They're taking in every nuance of their environment, every success, every infraction they experience. It's all processed through a system of millions of neurons, each of them firing through their brain at speeds of up to 270 miles per hour. There's barely cars that go that fast. Okay, guys, this is crazy. Well, right after this rapid period of proliferation, right, where they keep building, these connections that we just talked about are significantly reduced through this biological process. The neurologists call it pruning, right? This is where the brain, it starts reducing neural connections. It reroutes those circuits toward the most efficient use of energy for that specific person. So, how does the brain decide what's most important? Well, it does this by doing what the brain is biologically designed to do. I'll give you a guess. What do you think? Well, it's to keep you alive in your environment by whatever means necessary. So, as this child's brain starts developing, right, and it's going through this pruning process, the way that child begins to learn from their environment really starts to take off. And you might be asking, well, why does this matter? What does this have to do with raising children? Well, while we don't have all the answers right now, what we do know beyond the shadow of a doubt is that the experiences this child has during the first few years shapes the way they learn from their environment. Right? This determines how well that child reacts to constructive criticism, how well the child reacts to disciplinary measures. More importantly, is how that child calculates the information that is received from its home environment. Listen, nobody's perfect, okay? There's never going to be a single answer that fits every situation of life, including parenting. However, if you're currently a parent or you're considering becoming parents in the midst of a global pandemic, it's absolutely crucial that you take the time to ensure that you are emotionally committed to the task. Now, I know that a lot of you are going to say this. You're going to say, how do I know for sure that I'm ready to be a parent? And I would argue that the answer is very simple. There's no criteria for becoming a parent, just like there's no criteria for becoming an artist, a musician, a carpenter, or a cook, right? Other people may impose a certain level of skill that they think you should have before you can say that you're a musician or a cook. But the reality is that if you're committed to becoming an excellent musician, becoming an excellent cook, becoming a skilled carpenter, whatever, you will be successful in those areas. What you tell yourself dictates your capacity for change. And the good news is that you're always right, no matter what you say to yourself. So for instance, if you tell yourself that you don't have what it takes, that you're not worthy, or that you don't have the tools that you need, your commitment is going to fail every time. So how do we overcome this? How do we break free of these conditional chains that we have from early childhood so that we can move forward and start making better choices as it relates to the way that we carry ourselves through the course of our lives? Well, I'm glad you asked, and I think you already know where I'm going with this. Head over to ReLifeAcademy.com today. Sign up for the intake assessment like we tell you all the time. If you haven't done it already, it costs you nothing. It is absolutely free of charge. Within 24 hours, you're going to receive an email with your coach's contact information, right? So that you can coordinate those next steps toward becoming a better version of yourself. Listen to me carefully, guys. You are capable of incredible change, but it has to begin with you. The choices that you're making right now are going to influence what happens in your future. My name's Marcus, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the Real Life Podcast. Let's make better decisions, better choices, so that our children can grow up to have the future we always hope for. Until next time,